Hey, Nicky.
Hi, Amy.
So Nicky's from Free to Shine, who we're raising money for tonight. Nicky's, you're over in Cambodia at the
I'm in
moment.
Circus at the moment, yes, in our office.
So I thought it might be nice if you could tell the story of how Free to Shine started for everybody.
Certainly. First of all, Amy, thanks for organising this event and choosing to support us through it and giving us the opportunity to talk to people about it. Free to Shine began for me with a trip to Cambodia back in December 2009. I'd read a book 18 months previously where I'd learned about sex trafficking and learned about a woman who had been trafficked for sex, and upon her eventual escape, she tried to build a life for herself, but she couldn't forget about the girls that she knew that were still in there. So she began assisting them when they got out to set up new lives for themselves. And in this book, where she describes what happens in there, which is a difficult read, but she tells it very well, she said that she was tired and she needed some help. So I thought, wow, I've been waiting for an opportunity where I read these books about things that are happening around the world, different women, different girls, different countries, different issues. I've always been compelled to want to do something, and I've never known what to do. I've never known how to go to these particular countries and help a 10-year-old not get married in Yemen, and I didn't know how to do it. And here was someone actually asking for help. So I thought, well, I just need to respond. Like, she'll tell me how. So it began with a month over in Cambodia in 2009, and I visited their programs and their 3 centres. They've got 200 girls aged 6 through to 24, so girls and young women. And I'd been asked if I would write a life skills curriculum for them, so that they were, when they left the centre, they were equipped with the skills to be assertive enough to say no to their families so that they didn't get re-trafficked. So that's how I began. And by the time I'd spent 4 weeks with that organisation teaching these young women life skills, because I wanted to find out what they already knew and what gaps they had, so that I could tailor-make a curriculum for them, not just pull ideas, Western ideas off the internet. I asked them what I thought was a simple question. I said, I'm about to go back to Australia. I'm going to find 30 people that will work with me for 1 hour a day. I figured, you've got to work. You can spare an hour in the evening. We'll get together. We'll spend an hour a day. And we'll really help you. Because at that point, after knowing them for a month, I would have done anything for them. Yeah. And I expected it to be quite a straightforward thing that we'd be able to sit and do in an hour a day. Like, they were learning sewing and hairdressing, so I kind of like travelled down the path of assuming they'd want some clothing patterns or something. I've no idea anything about sewing. And their answer just stopped me in my tracks. They said, Nicky, we're okay. We've been helped. We don't need anything. But the day that we got rescued from the brothels, the brothel owners don't go without a girl. They just go out into the rural villages and take another young girl in our place. So because we're sitting here, someone else is being subjected to that. So we'd like you to go out into the rural villages, find the girls who aren't in school and get them into school. Because if they were in school, they wouldn't get trafficked. And I got goosebumps. Like, I seriously get goosebumps every time I tell that story. I've got them right now. I don't know if it was just because intuitively I knew that was right, or because I had been a teacher previously and sort of linked into that. I don't know, but I just realised that, or they helped me realise that the focus is on rescue, which needs to happen. But if every time you take one girl out, another one goes back in, if it's just a revolving door, we're helping girls that have been trafficked, but we're not ending it. So I figured, yeah, we need to cut it off at the supply. At that point, I had no idea how to even go to a rural village. I'd been working in their centres in the cities. I'd never even been to a rural village. I didn't know how to get to one. I figured you could just get to one, but I didn't know which ones were subject to traffickers. I didn't know when you get there. Well, I didn't speak Khmer, so I don't know how to find out these things. I didn't know how to find out which girls went. I had no idea. So it involved a lot of research and a lot of talking to the many organisations that are here to find out if that was already being done, so that we could simply support another organisation that was doing that instead of setting up our own. But it wasn't. There was no targeted approach to it. So that's how and why we began.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
And it's been going because we met. How long we met? 3-4 years ago, didn't we?
Oh, Amy, I think 5.
5 years ago.
We came to Cambodia 4 years ago, 2013.
Yeah, it must have been 5 years ago. Jesus.
Yeah.
In that time, God. And in that time, so it's grown up to, is it 700 girls?
Yes. It's 718 girls that we've got now across 44 different rural villages. So we work very closely with their village leaders, their commune leaders, commune councils for women and children, different organisations, police. And so our girls, we don't have schools. Some people mix up that we might have schools that we've built. We don't. We are helping girls access their own state schools. So there are schools in Cambodia, but when these girls are living in a type of poverty that you just don't really imagine, like these kids are so hungry that after school they go to the forest looking for ants and leaves to collect so that they can fry the ants and have the leaves. Obviously the leaves is fine, but they don't have access to running water, so they're drinking water from ponds and streams and ditches and things, unfiltered unless provided with a water filter by ourselves, or if another water organisation has popped through the villages 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever, and provided water filters. So they're living without a lot of their basic human rights, and they're getting sick from drinking dirty water, and they're really hungry. And then when they get sick, they don't have access to free medical care. So they take loans out, microfinance loans, to access doctors and medicines, which then they have to try and pay off, and they can't pay off because they can't even afford rice, vegetables and whatever. So they start in such abject poverty, and it just gets harder and harder and harder for them. So while the schools are available and the schools are technically free, the schools in Cambodia are actually only for half a day, and you cannot progress on to the following year if you don't pass the year that you're in. And nobody passes when they only go to school for half a day. So they then have to pay the teachers for additional afternoon lessons. So we have to provide the uniforms, the books and pens, the bicycles so that they can get to their schools. Primary schools are usually quite local because there's more primary schools, because more kids do go to primary school, but they drop out each year. So by the time you get to secondary school, grade 7, there's even fewer. So the secondary schools, there's less often because they're bigger, might feed 5, 6, 7 primary schools. But then they've got to travel anything from 5 to 10 kilometres. So without a bicycle, even with a bicycle, that's hard. Like, it's hard to cycle 3 kilometres on these roads and in this heat. So we basically help them access state school, because if they are in school, traffickers don't target them. Traffickers are literally looking for the most vulnerable kids, which they find at home because they can't afford to go to school, while their parents are away in fields and different provinces working. So at least by having them in school, like, sure, we care about the educational opportunities that they get, but primarily they've got a professional that's looking out for them. If that child goes missing, somebody knows, and they contact us and talk about it, and we figure it out. So largely it's done for safety.
So just to be, so everyone's clear, so you find the girls at risk and then put them into school through sponsorship programs, isn't it?
Yeah, we help them access state school. Some of the girls, when we enroll them, have never been to school. They could be 9, 10, 11, up to 13 and never been to school before. Others did go to school and then dropped out, and they could have been dropped out for a month or up to 2 years. 3 years is about the longest we've had someone dropped out. Once they've been dropped out more than 2 years, the chances of getting them back to school, they don't want to go back to school because they're so far behind everybody by then. And we do work with a lot of girls who are in school when we find them, but we can see through the patterns of the family and the 100-point risk assessment tool that we utilise that they're at high risk of dropping out. So we began by working with children who either weren't in school or had dropped out of school. But then we found that it wasn't getting them into school that was the issue, it was keeping them there. And you really had to have an ongoing, trusting relationship with them for you to be able to work them through it when it came to that point of them being about to drop out. So we found that if in their family, for example, all their older siblings dropped out in grade 7, then the pattern is that family value education to grade 6, but she's highly likely to drop out in grade 7. So we really need to start working with her in grade 5 to establish that trusting relationship so that when it gets to the crunch point in grade 7, we've got some sway and we can talk with the family and they're more likely to listen to us and we can persuade them. And we've put in steps along the way that help them overcome that crunch point when it happens. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, what's been done in 6 years?
We actually established in June the 1st, which is actually International Children's Day, in 2010. So we're coming up for 7 years now. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And I know when I came over, we met some really inspiring girls. It might be nice just to share a story about one of the girls and so people get more of an understanding.
Well, I've got so many different examples that I'd love to share. It put me on a 5-minute time limit. So, okay, I'll tell you about Rena. We were doing an art class and we actually had an artist that had come in to do this art class, and it was a human rights art class. It was to get them to connect to their feelings and like the things that really matter to them and to give them an opportunity to really express themselves. And one of them wrote in English, so she clearly wanted us to be able to read it and understand. The majority of our staff are Cambodian, which nevertheless she wrote this in English. I think she really wanted us to see it. And she wrote, my dream is to have a hospital and a library in my village. And I thought, well, we're in the business of trying to help these girls achieve their dreams and work towards their dreams. So we cannot help this child open a hospital in this rural village, but we could with a library. Like, our girls have access to library books. We do a mobile library. So we thought, what if we get her set up with a library that she can have not just our girls come to, but the community come to. So we got her started. We didn't want to make it like too big with shelves and loads of books everywhere, like just little step by step. So we got her started with 67 library books, and she has a notebook where she takes note of who's taken it out on what day and what have you. And she refers to herself as the manager of 67 libraries. She's so proud of the fact that she's kind of like really stepped up, like, I'm the manager of the library. It's given us so much like power and confidence.
I love it.
But she just loves that she's sharing this like right to access these things to the wider community, and she tells us that she's not done at 67 library books. She hopes to have enough library books that the entire village can come to her and read.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that is absolutely amazing. And what so if people tonight could do something, one little thing to help, is there something? Sorry,
yeah, I would say 3 things. I would say go to our website and learn about us. I think one of our biggest values is learning, and you really can't be that much help till you learn a little bit. So go to our website. We've got heaps of stuff on there that'll actually teach you more about what we do and share with you what we do. And Facebook, we share girls' stories, like in their own words, a little bit about what they've been doing or what's on their mind that day. Like, go through our Facebook posts and sort of get a sense of what the program is and who our girls are and what it's like for them and what they're achieving and doing. And our annual report is a really good way to learn about us because we take everything that's happened that year. And then I guess if you feel inclined, go to the give page and decide whether you want to give some library books or a water filter or a week of education, or pick a way that suits you, that you're able to actually do something for these girls, and we'll put it straight into action.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much, Nikki. Our what did we do? 10 minutes?
Yeah. You're very welcome. Thank you for the opportunity. I knew 5 minutes was never going to happen.
Thanks so much.